Beloved chosen ones, pause for a moment and let your spirit align. This message is for those of you ready to step beyond the ordinary and claim your divine purpose. If something deep within you stirs as you hear these words, it's a clear sign that you're destined for something extraordinary. Embrace this moment. It's not here by accident, but by divine timing, appearing just when you're ready to unlock your greatest potential. Chosen ones, this video didn't come to you by chance. It arrived precisely when you needed it most. Think about the signs, the challenges, the unanswered questions that have lingered in your heart. Each one has been a piece of the journey leading you to this point. You've sensed it, haven't you? The feeling that there's more waiting for you, that you're on the edge of a breakthrough. Now, you're standing at the threshold, ready for the transformation you've longed for. Understand this: the breakthrough you seek and the answers you yearn for are closer than you realize. But make no mistake, this path is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who are willing to embrace their calling fully, without reservation. This video appears now because your spirit is prepared to rise and claim your divine purpose. The Bible tells us in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." What if this is your appointed time to step into that promise? If you've been led here to this channel, it's no coincidence. Join us, the Grateful to God family, and receive the divine guidance that will uplift and direct you on your sacred path. Comment 77 if this resonates with you, and thank you deeply to those who support through super thanks. Your presence here is a blessing. Together, let us unlock the divine wisdom meant to shape your journey forward. Are you ready to answer the call? God's chosen ones, this video appears when you're finally ready. Chosen one, at this pivotal moment, you might find yourself standing with a sense of accomplishment for how far you've come, yet feeling hesitant about what lies ahead. You may question if you're truly prepared to embrace the next chapter of your journey. But take heart in this. Every trial and triumph you've encountered has been divinely orchestrated to bring you to this exact place. Each step, every challenge has served to prepare you, not a moment too soon, not a second too late. Spiritual readiness is at the heart of this. It doesn't mean having all the answers or perfecting every aspect of your life. True readiness is about aligning with God's timing, surrendering to His plan, and trusting in the path He has set before you. Consider the Proverbs 3:5-6. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." Are you willing to let go of your doubts and trust His lead, even if the road ahead seems unclear? The struggles you've endured were not without purpose. Each trial has been a lesson in strength, wisdom, and resilience, equipping you for this divine calling. Many of God's chosen wrestle with the tension of feeling called to greatness, while feeling unworthy or unprepared to take the next step. This tension, this inner struggle, often results in a kind of spiritual paralysis, a place where you know the path but feel frozen in doubt. This is the moment where true breakthrough lies. God has been working in you through every season of hardship, each night filled with doubt, and each moment when everything seemed to go wrong. In the Romans 8:28, we're reminded, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." What if every difficult moment was part of His plan to shape you for this precise chapter? Remember, readiness is not about achieving perfection, it's about embracing faith. God has been molding you, stripping away what no longer serves you, refining your spirit so that you are equipped to fulfill your divine purpose. Ask yourself, are you willing to step forward in faith, knowing that every moment has been a part of His preparation for you? The path may not be easy, but the strength, wisdom, and grace within you are exactly what is needed to walk it. Each obstacle you faced, every hardship you endured, has been an essential part of God's plan to prepare you for this moment. This is a turning point where you're finally able to glimpse the bigger picture. The trials that once seemed random or purposeless now show themselves as integral, carefully crafted steps toward your readiness. God wasn't slowing you down. He was equipping you with the strength and resilience necessary for your calling. Each challenge was not designed to break you, but to build you, to shape you into the person capable of carrying out His purpose. This moment may still bring whispers of doubt, voices questioning if you're truly capable of walking this path. These doubts can feel overwhelming, casting shadows on the light of your faith. But remember this: the enemy's attacks are not random. He only targets those who threaten his plans. The opposition you face is proof of your potential, a confirmation that you are standing on the verge of something extraordinary. The intensity of the resistance reveals just how close you are to fulfilling your purpose. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." This struggle is not against mere circumstances, but against forces that recognize the power you hold as a chosen one. When doubt whispers, ask yourself, why would the enemy work so hard to discourage you if you weren't meant for greatness? If the path before you weren't significant, there would be no need for such strong resistance. James 1:2-4 encourages us to consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. These trials are more than challenges. They are divine tests, purifying your faith and fortifying your spirit for the calling ahead. Take this as a sign of your readiness. The opposition grows stronger because you're on the brink of stepping into your purpose. Embrace this moment, knowing that every struggle has brought you to this threshold, fully equipped and divinely prepared. The enemy may try to sow seeds of doubt, but those seeds cannot take root in a heart that knows its purpose. So, as you stand here, look forward with faith. The resistance is simply the final test before the breakthrough. Proof that you are ready to fulfill the calling God has placed on your life. One of the most profound emotional hurdles you'll encounter on this path is the fear of stepping into the unknown. For so long, you've grown accustomed to waiting. Waiting feels safe, and it requires nothing of you but patience. Yet, while waiting may feel secure, true growth only happens when we take bold action. Embracing your purpose means stepping out of the comfort of what is familiar and embracing the unknown, trusting that God's plans for you are far greater than any fear that holds you back. This moment demands a leap of faith, a willingness to let go of control, and to believe wholeheartedly that the same God who has prepared you will also uphold and sustain you. It's essential to remember that you are not walking this journey alone. God has been beside you every step of the way, quietly guiding, molding, and readying you for what's to come. And as you take this step forward, His presence will continue to be your strength and shield. Isaiah 41:10 offers us this promise. "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Isn't it comforting to know that as you take this bold step, God Himself is the one holding you up? At this point, readiness becomes more than just a marker of your personal growth. It's about your spirit aligning with God's divine plan. When your heart and soul come into alignment with His will, you'll witness doors opening that once felt firmly shut, and opportunities that once seemed distant will move within your reach. This is the beauty of walking in sync with God's purpose. It's not just about you, but about His divine timing and provision. Psalm 37:23 reminds us, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and He delights in His way." When your spirit aligns with His purpose, every step you take is guided and filled with the assurance that you're on the right path. Ask yourself, what would it look like to live without fear, fully surrendered to the guidance of the One who created you? Imagine the freedom of stepping out, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust in the One who does. This is the kind of readiness that brings peace, confidence, and purpose. You're ready now, not just because you've grown, but because your spirit has found its place in God's grand design. And as you step forward in this alignment, watch as God begins to open doors that lead to a future brighter than you could have ever envisioned on your own. Readiness doesn't mean the path ahead will be free from obstacles. Challenges will still arise, but now you possess the tools, resilience, and faith needed to navigate them. You've endured trials that have refined your spirit, giving you a deep understanding of your inner strength. This preparation wasn't just for survival, it was to empower you to rise above any challenge that may come your way. In this moment of readiness, you're called not only to step into your purpose, but also to embrace the responsibility that comes with it. With greater clarity of purpose comes a heightened sense of accountability. God has equipped you to be a light and a guide for others who may still be lost or uncertain. Your readiness isn't solely for your benefit. It's a beacon of hope and inspiration for those around you. Matthew 5:16 reminds us, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." As you rise, others will be uplifted by your journey, finding courage and motivation to pursue their own path. Are you ready to step into this role as a leader, knowing that your journey can help others find theirs? Ultimately, being ready means fully trusting that God has given you everything necessary to fulfill the purpose He's placed within you. This is the moment to quiet the lingering voices of doubt and focus on God's voice, which has been leading you all along. Reflect on Joshua 1:9. "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." This assurance is yours as you stand on the brink of your breakthrough. Take a moment to recognize that every struggle, every setback, and every victory were all woven together to prepare you for this exact point in time. You are equipped not just with strength, but with divine purpose. As you step forward, know that you carry within you the courage, wisdom, and faith needed for what lies ahead. This readiness is a gift, an affirmation that you are exactly where you need to be. So, move forward boldly, trusting that God has prepared you not just to face, but to overcome whatever comes next. As you pause and take in this moment, remember that God's timing is flawless. He has guided you here for a reason, and this is your appointed time to step forward in faith. Your readiness doesn't come from having every answer. It comes from the strength, wisdom, and divine guidance that God has cultivated in you. This is a sacred moment, marking the beginning of something truly significant. Psalm 37:23 assures us, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord," reminding us that every step in your journey has been part of a grander divine plan. Reflect on this truth, dear chosen one. Each step you've taken, each hardship you've endured, has been carefully woven into a greater purpose. There may have been times when you questioned why certain things happened, why certain paths closed, or why the journey seemed so long and arduous. But now you stand with a deeper understanding that these moments were not random. God used every experience, every challenge, every moment of doubt to shape you and prepare you for what lies ahead. Romans 8:28 speaks to this, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Each closed door, each unexpected turn, was a building block in the foundation of your spiritual growth. Your readiness for this new chapter is no coincidence. It is the culmination of God's work in your life, carefully designed and intentionally cultivated. This theme of readiness we explore goes beyond mere preparation for the tasks ahead. It is a realization that all of your experiences, every lesson and triumph, have aligned perfectly to create the person you are today. Think about it. What if every setback was a setup for something greater? What if each trial was a test to refine you for the purpose you're now called to embrace? God has been working behind the scenes, using each obstacle to mold you, ensuring you're prepared not only to advance, but to flourish in the purpose he has set for you. Now, as you stand on the cusp of this next phase, embrace the fullness of what God has done in you. Your journey wasn't meant to just lead you here. It was meant to equip you to step forward with confidence and faith, knowing that you are ready. This is your moment. A divine appointment to move forward with courage, fully prepared to fulfill the incredible purpose God has planned for you. One of the most transformative lessons you've encountered on your spiritual journey is the art of surrender. It's often only when life feels chaotic and completely beyond our control that we are invited to release our tight grip on expectations. In those moments, you found yourself left with no option but to place your trust entirely in God's timing, a lesson that has woven itself into the deepest parts of your faith. This lesson, though challenging, is among the most profound for any believer. It requires a faith that transcends your immediate understanding. Surrendering is never easy, especially when your desires are powerful and your hopes seem urgent, pressing on your heart with unyielding force. You may wonder, why must I wait? Why can't things unfold now? Yet, it is precisely in these moments of surrender that God's plans start to take shape in ways you couldn't foresee. The Bible teaches us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." Isaiah 55:8. This reminds us that God's vision extends far beyond what we can perceive, assuring us that his plan, though hidden, is always in motion. This understanding of surrender has become a guiding light as you prepare to step forward into what lies ahead. There will always be unknowns in life, a future that seems shadowed by uncertainty. But now, you have the strength to meet those uncertainties with a heart that trusts deeply. How different would our lives be if we truly believed that every delay, every pause, is a part of God's divine timing? Could it be that this trust, built through the discipline of surrender, is the key to unlocking the blessings he has prepared for you? With each step forward, remember that your surrender isn't a loss of control, but an invitation for God to reveal his greater plan in your life. Another important aspect of your growth has been patience. Think of all the times you felt prepared to move forward, believing you were ready to step into new opportunities or blessings, yet God gently asked you to wait. Those pauses often felt confusing, even frustrating, but in each waiting season you began to realize that God's plan was at work beyond what you could see. These moments weren't simply delays. They were purposeful periods where God was preparing your heart, aligning situations around you, and building a foundation that would support your growth in the long term. The Bible beautifully illustrates this in Psalm 27:14, which encourages, "Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord." What might God have been cultivating within you during those times of stillness? Perhaps resilience or a deeper trust in His timing. Each period of waiting was like a season of sowing. God was planting seeds of faith, patience, and wisdom within you that would bloom in their own time. Now, as you look back, can you see how your ability to trust has grown stronger? With each instance of waiting, you were learning that God's timing is infinitely wiser than our own. How many times did things fall into place in a way you never could have planned? This understanding, this surrender to His perfect timing, has become a cornerstone of your faith. As Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven." What season do you believe you're in now? Are you still in a period of preparation, or is God calling you to step forward? By standing in faith through these seasons, you have learned that God's timing is not just about achieving our desires, but about aligning our hearts with His purpose. This journey requires patience, not simply as a means to an end, but as a form of worship, trusting that God is working all things together for good, just as Romans 8:28 promises. Isn't it amazing to know that God has orchestrated every moment, down to the smallest detail, for your ultimate blessing? What if the wait itself was a blessing, one that prepared you for all that He is ready to give? Each step has taught you that faith is not about instant results, but about surrendering to His wisdom, confident that God's plan will always exceed our expectations in ways we could never imagine. In what ways can you continue to embrace patience, knowing that God's timing is indeed perfect? This readiness you are stepping into is a sacred transition, one that doesn't require you to have every detail in place, but rather a heart open to God's guidance. Life may feel uncertain, and the path ahead may appear hazy, but the openness you've cultivated through your journey allows you to trust God, even in the unknown. Through your trials and triumphs, you've acquired invaluable tools: wisdom to discern, strength to endure, and perseverance to push forward. These gifts are the very foundation that will carry you, especially when the road ahead challenges your faith. The Bible reminds us in Proverbs 16:9, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." Are you willing to walk forward in faith, trusting that God has already equipped you for each step? Take a moment to reflect on the qualities that have emerged from within you: resilience that has withstood storms, faith that has not faltered, and discernment sharpened by hardship. These strengths didn't surface during times of comfort, but were forged in moments of difficulty. You may not have realized how much you've grown or how capable you truly are. Now, it's time to embrace the person you've become and the tools God has given you. No longer do you need to question if you're ready. God has prepared you for this season and has brought you here for a purpose. As you stand on the brink of this next chapter, it's important to recognize that this readiness carries a profound responsibility. God's plan for your life isn't solely for your benefit, but for those whose lives you will touch along the way. Your journey, your choices, and your actions will ripple outward, impacting those around you. Have you considered the ways your growth might inspire others to trust in God's timing? This realization should humble you, filling you with both a sense of honor and purpose as a vessel in God's divine design. This time of preparation is sacred. There is no need to rush into the future. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly according to God's timing. As Isaiah 40:31 reassures us, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Stand in peace, take a deep breath, and know that you are exactly where you need to be. The next steps will be revealed when the time is right, and in that moment you will find that you are indeed ready. Your journey is indeed one of a kind. The path you walk is yours alone, carefully crafted by God for your unique growth and transformation. Every challenge you encountered Every hardship you overcame was not random, but divinely designed to equip you with the resilience, wisdom, and faith you would need. These experiences have refined you, preparing you for the extraordinary purpose that now lies ahead. Standing here, on the brink of something significant, you can look back and see how every moment, even those you once questioned, was a step in God's plan to shape you. As you step forward, let your gaze remain fixed on God. He has been your guide through every storm, your strength in every weakness, and He will continue to lead you into this new chapter. The prophet Jeremiah reminds us of God's promise in Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." Can you feel the depth of God's commitment to your journey, knowing He has orchestrated each step with loving intention? You're not entering this new season because everything in your life is perfectly aligned, but because you now carry the essential strength, wisdom, and faith to face what's next. God's timing is beyond our understanding, flawless in its unfolding. He has prepared you for this moment, and though you may not see every detail, trust that He has equipped you fully for what lies ahead. Move forward with confidence, grounded in the knowledge that His plan surpasses anything you could imagine. You are ready to fulfill your purpose, not because the path is easy, but because God has placed within you everything needed to accomplish it. As you walk forward, can you trust that the unknown holds blessings beyond your wildest dreams, designed specifically for you? Let this assurance fill you with peace, for God is leading you into something greater, and you are fully prepared to embrace it. Chosen one, you've come a long way, yet there may still be a lingering feeling of incompletion, an echo of something unresolved. Despite all your growth and transformation, it's as though there's more, a question or a quiet anticipation that something extraordinary is waiting just over the horizon. This feeling isn't a coincidence. It's a divine sign that you are standing on the brink of a life-altering shift, a sacred threshold. Though the path ahead may seem veiled in mystery, this tension between where you are now and where you're meant to go is an essential part of your spiritual journey. It's as if you're standing before a door, sensing that the next step will reshape everything. But perhaps the real question that rests on your heart is this: what is that next step? You've walked through trials and challenges, each one molding you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. You've done the inner work, confronted doubts, and emerged with greater clarity. And now you feel a calling towards something greater, though its details may still be shrouded. For those chosen by God, this journey often includes periods of stillness, times when God's voice seems silent, and the way forward feels hidden. In Psalm 46:10, we're reminded, "Be still and know that I am God." These moments of waiting are not a pause in the journey, but a preparation, a sacred stillness where God is at work, orchestrating things both within you and in the world around you. Can you see how God's silence is not abandonment, but an invitation to listen even closer? In these moments, you're being called to lean in, to tune your heart to God's quiet whispers. His timing, though mysterious, is perfect, unfolding in ways we often can't foresee. We may long for immediate answers or a clear direction at every turn, but God works beyond our understanding. Sometimes the waiting itself is a crucial part of the journey. It's in this pause that God aligns events, situations, and even your own heart in ways that are unseen. Just as Habakkuk 2:3 says, "For the vision awaits its appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." This waiting, though challenging, is where your breakthrough is born. You may not see it yet, but the answers, the guidance, and the revelation are already in motion, preparing to be unveiled at the right moment. What if this time of quiet anticipation is exactly what's needed to prepare you for what's next? Are you willing to trust that this waiting is not an empty pause, but a divine orchestration, leading you closer to the fulfillment of your purpose? As you stand at this threshold, may you find peace in knowing that God's hand is in every detail, guiding you, preparing you, and setting the stage for the moment when everything will be revealed. You might find yourself wondering, what signs should I look for? You may have noticed subtle changes unfolding around you, relationships shifting, certain doors closing while others open unexpectedly. These are not random events, they are divine movements, gentle signs that God is setting the stage for the next chapter in your journey. Each change, each closed or open door is part of God's orchestration, preparing you for what lies ahead. Yet, even as these signs appear, doubts can surface, making you question whether you're truly ready to step into the unknown. This tension, feeling something is coming without knowing what it is, can stir a mix of emotions. You might feel excitement alongside fear, a combination that speaks deeply to your soul. The fear comes from the uncertainty, while the excitement is a whisper from your spirit, sensing that a breakthrough is near. Perhaps you wonder whether you'll recognize the opportunity when it arrives, or if you're genuinely prepared for what's to come. But consider this: the very fact that you're asking these questions is a sign of your growth and readiness. It shows that you're attuned to the significance of what lies ahead, aware of the weight and purpose this new season carries. In these moments, faith becomes your anchor. Trust that God has already equipped you with everything you need, even if you can't yet see the full picture. As 2 Corinthians 5:7 reminds us, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." Isn't it reassuring to know that you don't have to understand every detail to take the next step? This stage isn't about having all the answers. Instead, it's about surrendering fully to God's guidance, allowing Him to reveal each piece of the journey in His time. Trusting in God means embracing the unknown, knowing that He will light each step as you go. You're not meant to have it all figured out beforehand. Just as Isaiah 30:21 promises, "Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, 'This is the way, walk in it.'" Can you feel the freedom in surrendering control, letting go of the need for certainty, and allowing God to lead you one step at a time? As you face this threshold, remember that every doubt, every question is part of your preparation. It sharpens your awareness and deepens your faith. Embrace this process, for it's in these moments of uncertainty that God is working the most. You are being prepared for something extraordinary, something beyond what you could plan or imagine. So, when the time comes, trust that you will recognize the opportunity, and you'll be ready to step forward with courage, guided by faith, knowing that God's plan is unfolding perfectly. What does this anticipation feel like right now? Maybe it feels like a restlessness that you can't quite shake, a deep sense that something is shifting, even if it remains just beyond your reach. This restlessness isn't just discomfort. It's a sacred signal that transformation is unfolding within you. You may feel as though you're shedding the old, preparing to step into something new and greater. God is not only aligning your circumstances, but is also working in your heart, mind, and spirit, preparing every part of you for the next season. Think back to other times in your life when you felt a similar tension before a major shift or revelation. Those were moments of uncertainty, weren't they? And yet, in each instance, the breakthrough only came when you chose to trust the process and moved forward with faith. This moment is no different. The anticipation you feel now isn't a sign that you're stagnant or lost. It's a divine indicator that you're on the very edge of a breakthrough. God is about to move in your life in ways that are still unseen. But before that breakthrough comes, He invites you to sit with the questions and embrace the uncertainty. This is where true spiritual growth is cultivated. Spiritual maturity isn't formed during moments of clarity. It's built in the waiting, when faith becomes your anchor. When the answers are hidden and the future is unclear, that's when your trust in God is strengthened the most. Hebrews 11:1 reminds us, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." Can you sense the beauty in trusting what you cannot yet see? Your doubts and questions are not signs of weakness. They're part of the journey. God isn't withholding answers to frustrate you. Instead, He's using this tension to refine your spirit, to deepen your reliance on Him, and to prepare you fully for what lies ahead. This restlessness is a sign of preparation, a refining process that will make you stronger and more attuned to God's voice. What if this waiting is not a delay, but a sacred pause, allowing you to become exactly who you need to be for the next chapter? As you sit in this moment of anticipation, trust that God is guiding every step. You're not waiting in vain. You're being prepared for something beyond what you can imagine. When the time comes, you'll understand why this waiting was necessary, why this tension was essential. Hold on to your faith, for it is the bridge between where you are now and the extraordinary purpose God has waiting for you. As you sit with these questions, searching for subtle, quiet signs instead of dramatic revelations, consider the ways God may be speaking to you even now. Sometimes His voice isn't in the grand gestures, but in the gentle reminders. A conversation that resonates deeply, a scripture that speaks to your heart, or a sudden calming sense of peace. These moments are His way of assuring you of His presence, even in times of waiting. Just as Elijah heard God not in the mighty wind or the earthquake, but in a gentle whisper, 1 Kings 19:11-12, you too may find that God's voice emerges in the stillness. As you stand at the threshold of a new chapter, take a moment to pause. What is God asking of you at this very moment? Perhaps He's inviting you to be patient, to trust Him more deeply, or to surrender fully to His timing. Consider what might happen if you allowed yourself to rest in His process rather than rushing to find answers. The anticipation you feel isn't a burden, but a blessing, a sign that God is preparing you for something greater. Could this anticipation be God's way of guiding you to grow in faith, to be ready for a transformation you can't yet see? The path you're on doesn't require that you have all the answers now. In fact, what God asks of you is something far simpler, yet infinitely profound. Faith. Faith to take each step forward, even when you can't see the entire path. Trust that, in His perfect timing, the answers will unfold. Just as He promises in Ecclesiastes 3:11, He has made everything beautiful in its time. Know that God's timing is flawless. Chosen one, this journey has been long, filled with questions and uncertainties. You've encountered obstacles that tested your strength and endured seasons of waiting that seemed endless. But every part of this journey has been intentional, guiding you and refining you for a purpose beyond your current understanding. Could it be that all the trials, the silence, and the anticipation have been God's way of preparing you for a destiny beyond your wildest imagination? Reflect on this. What if every moment of waiting was God's way of preparing you to receive something extraordinary? It's natural to feel the tension of waiting, to wonder what the next step will look like, or to feel the weight of not knowing God's full plan. Yet, here is a powerful truth. You are exactly where God needs you to be. Every moment of waiting, each instance of tension has been part of His divine process to refine and shape you. Just as James reminds us, let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. James 1:4. This waiting season isn't wasted. It's where patience, surrender, and faith are strengthened to depths that self-will cannot reach. Every lesson in patience, every step of surrender, has built within you a resilience that can carry the divine purpose laid upon your life. Think of Joseph, who endured betrayal, slavery, and prison before stepping into his role as Egypt's ruler, Genesis 50:20. Every trial served a purpose, shaping him for the task God had set. Could it be that your trials too are laying the foundation for a greater destiny? You've been seeking confirmation, clarity, direction. Yet, these answers may not have come in the expected ways. Perhaps the signs have been quiet, subtle. A moment of peace, a verse that speaks directly to your heart, or a conversation that shifts your understanding. Remember Elijah, who sought God in the wind, the earthquake, and the fire, but found him in a gentle whisper. 1 Kings 19:11-12. These subtle moments are God's way of guiding you gently, reminding you of his presence and confirming that you're on the right path. But now, the time is nearing for an answer that will shake your foundation, a breakthrough that will resonate within you deeply. Are you ready to receive it? Consider this. The very questions you've carried and the anticipation you feel may not be mere signs of something approaching. They may signify that you are the one who brings this change. Like Esther, who was placed in a position for such a time as this, Esther 4:14, you are positioned not only to receive a breakthrough, but to become one. What if you're waiting, you're yearning? Is God's way of molding you to be the catalyst for change? The shift that's about to happen isn't only external, it's an internal transformation, like that of David, who was chosen to be king, yet spent years in preparation, learning humility and trust in God before taking the throne. Samuel 16. Your trials and challenges have refined you, and God has been preparing you to not just step into the next phase, but to usher it in. So, what if this anticipation isn't simply the waiting for something to come, but the awareness that you are the one called to bring it forth? The waiting was never about God holding something back from you. It was about God building something within you. The breakthrough you seek isn't a moment in time. It's a transformation within you. You are the key to the next chapter, and the power to step into it has been within you all along. But here's where the revelation comes in. It's not enough to know that you are ready. You must now step into that readiness with boldness and confidence. The enemy has been trying to convince you that you're not prepared, that you're not equipped, or that you're still waiting for something external to shift before you can move forward. But the truth is, the shift happens when you decide to move. God has already aligned everything in your favor, but it's your faith in action that unlocks the next phase. This is where many falter. The waiting can become comfortable in its own way because it requires less risk. You're not yet stepping into the unknown, so the fear of failure or rejection remains at bay. But God is calling you out of that comfort now. He's asking you to trust Him fully, to take that next step, even if you don't see the whole path ahead. You don't need all the answers to move forward. You need faith that God will reveal what you need as you go. The revelation here is not just that you are ready, but that you are the catalyst for the breakthrough. Your obedience to God's call, your willingness to step out in faith, is what will unlock the next level of your journey. This is why the tension has been building. It's been preparing you to take action. The questions, the doubts, the waiting, they've all been leading you to this moment where you have the power to say, "Yes, Lord, I'm ready." Imagine what would happen if you truly believed that God has already equipped you for what's next. What would change in your life if you knew that the next step was already within your reach, waiting for you to take it? This is where the breakthrough happens. It's not in waiting for God to hand you the next opportunity on a silver platter. It's in recognizing that the opportunity is already here, and you are the one who must walk into it. This shift in perspective changes everything. Suddenly, the doubts that once held you back lose their power. The fear of not being ready is replaced with a deep sense of purpose. You realize that God has been with you every step of the way, not just preparing the path ahead, but preparing you to walk it. And now it's time to move. There's a scripture that says, "Faith without works is dead." You've had the faith, and now it's time to add the works. It's time to put your faith into action, to move forward even when you don't have all the answers, trusting that God will provide what you need along the way. The enemy would love nothing more than to keep you in a state of hesitation, but God is calling you to boldness. This is your moment, chosen one. The waiting is over. The breakthrough you've been seeking is already within you, waiting for you to step into it. God has aligned everything for this exact moment, the challenges, the lessons, the refining process. They've all been leading to this. And now, as you prepare to take the next step, know that you are fully equipped, fully ready, and fully backed by the power of God. So what will you do with this moment? Will you continue to wait, hoping for more clarity, more confirmation, more signs? Or will you step into the unknown, trusting that God has already given you everything you need? The choice is yours, and it's in that choice that your breakthrough lies. This is the climax of your journey so far, the moment when everything changes, not because your circumstances have shifted, but because you have shifted. You've grown, been refined, and now you're ready to step into the fullness of your divine calling. God has been guiding you every step of the way, and now as you move forward in faith, the path ahead will become clearer. The breakthrough you've been waiting for isn't something ahead of you. It's been building within you all along. Now is the time to bring it to life, to act on the faith you've cultivated, trusting that everything you need is already within you. This moment requires boldness, trust, and a willingness to step into the unknown, knowing God has already aligned everything for your success. You are ready. The breakthrough is here. It's time to step fully into your calling. As you stand at the threshold of this new chapter, chosen one, the path forward may feel overwhelming, yet it is filled with immense possibility. What you've just realized, the breakthrough isn't something outside of you, but something that has been growing within, changes everything. This is no longer a time for hesitation or doubt. Now is the moment to step fully into the purpose God has placed within your life. You've been shaped and refined up to this point. And now the question becomes, how do you walk forward in this new understanding? How do you live out this internal breakthrough in your spiritual journey? The first thing you must remember is that growth is a continuous process. The breakthrough you're experiencing is not a single event. It's an ongoing revelation of God's purpose for you. Often we think of breakthroughs as sudden, dramatic moments, but real change happens internally first. The insight you've gained, the deepening of your faith, and your newfound understanding of God's work in your life are what will drive you forward. This shift in perspective will shape how you respond to every challenge and opportunity that lies ahead. As you step into this new phase, it's crucial to trust that God is guiding your every move. You've learned throughout this journey that trusting in God's timing is essential. You don't have to see the entire path ahead to take the next step. Your willingness to let go of control and surrender to God's direction has brought you this far. Now that same trust will be your strength as you continue. You don't need all the answers to move forward. You need faith that God will reveal what you need when you need it. The first part of your path forward involves recognizing that the breakthrough within you has shifted how you see the world. You are no longer waiting for something external to change. Instead, you realize that the transformation has already begun inside. This change in mindset is key. You are no longer the same person you were when this journey began. You've grown, and now it's time to let that growth manifest in your actions. Instead of waiting for circumstances to align, you'll begin to act from a place of faith, knowing that God has equipped you with everything you need to move forward. Another crucial part of your journey is understanding that your breakthrough isn't just for you. God's purpose for your life is interconnected with the lives of others. As you move forward, your actions will inspire and influence those around you. Your obedience to God's call will have a ripple effect on the people in your life. This is how God works. When one person steps into their calling, it encourages others to do the same. As you move forward, recognize that your faith and courage are setting an example for those who are watching you, even if they aren't saying it out loud. This is why your breakthrough is so significant. It isn't just about your journey, it's about the lives that will be changed because of your faith. Every step you take in obedience to God's plan becomes a testimony to others. Your willingness to trust to move forward even when the path is unclear will inspire those who are struggling with their own doubts and fears. This is the beauty of walking in alignment with God's will. Your life becomes a light for others. As you continue forward, you will still face challenges. The path won't always be easy, but now you'll approach those challenges differently. Rather than seeing them as obstacles meant to hold you back, you'll recognize them as opportunities for further growth. Each challenge is a chance to deepen your faith and trust in God. You've already overcome so much, and with each victory, your trust in God's provision grows stronger. The same will happen as you encounter new challenges on this path. God's plan for you is far greater than what you can imagine. While you may have specific dreams and desires, God's vision for your life exceeds even those. He knows the bigger picture, and He is working behind the scenes to align every detail for His divine purpose. As you move forward, keep this in mind. What you see now is only a small part of what God has in store for you. Trust that even when things seem uncertain, God is orchestrating everything according to His perfect plan. Moving forward requires you to hold on to the lessons you've learned, especially the understanding that breakthrough begins within. It's about taking what you've gained through this journey, your growth, your deepened faith, and applying it to the challenges and opportunities ahead. The journey of a chosen one is about walking in faith, even when the path is unclear. You may not have all the answers now, but you know God is guiding you every step of the way. There will be moments when the tension between what you see and what you believe will be tested. It's in these moments that you must remember everything you've learned up until now. The breakthrough isn't something far off in the distance. It's within you. The power to walk in your calling, to trust in God's timing, and to move forward in faith has already been given to you. Now it's time to take the next step, knowing that God is with you. The path forward will be defined by faith and trust in God. It's about embracing the purpose He has placed within your life, trusting that He is orchestrating everything for your good. Keep your focus on Him, knowing that even in uncertainty, He is guiding you. As you continue, believe that you are fully equipped and ready for what's ahead. The breakthrough you've been seeking is already happening within you, and now it's time to walk boldly into the future God has prepared. You are ready, and the next step is yours to take. Chosen one, you've arrived at a crucial crossroads in your journey. The breakthrough you've been waiting for isn't some distant reality. It's within you, ready to come forth. God has been at work, quietly preparing and equipping you with the strength, wisdom, and resilience needed to fulfill your purpose. Like Moses, who was guided through the wilderness to gain the faith and endurance necessary to lead God's people, every trial you've faced has been part of God's design, refining and molding you for what's ahead. Exodus 3:1-10. Now it's time to step forward with faith, trust, and courage. In moments of doubt, remember Joshua, whom God commanded to be strong and courageous. reassuring him that he would be with him wherever he went. Joshua 1-9. This same promise is extended to you. You are not alone. With each step, God is by your side, ready to guide and support you. As you continue on this path, know that you're part of a powerful community of chosen ones. Like the early disciples who walked together, supported each other, and spread God's word, you are surrounded by others who are also navigating their divine journeys. Though each path is unique, the strength we draw from unity and connection is beyond measure. Together, we rise into the fullness of our calling, aligning with God's will and purpose for our lives. Consider the words of Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Two are better than one. If either of them falls, one can help the other up. The strength of community amplifies the purpose in each of us, allowing us to overcome the challenges along the way. What would it look like to walk hand in hand with others, each of you empowered by God's Spirit, lifting each other up as you fulfill your callings? This moment isn't just about you stepping into your purpose. It's about all of us rising together, embodying the calling God has placed upon us. Are you ready to embrace the community of the chosen and walk forward boldly, fully equipped and aligned with God's purpose? As we reach the end of this message, I want to thank each of you for joining this journey and for your incredible support. If this message has touched your heart, please consider donating through Super Thanks. It helps us continue bringing messages of faith, hope, and divine purpose. But whether you donate or not, your presence here is a blessing to us, and I'm grateful for each one of you. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe so that we can reach and encourage even more people walking their own divine paths. And feel free to comment below with your thoughts, reflections, or just to let us know you're here. Your voices build this community and strengthen each one of us. May God bless you abundantly, guide you on your journey, and fill your heart with peace, purpose, and joy. Remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together, walking forward in faith. Thank you, and God bless.